Last week on Christmas Day, I posted a photo of my husband and me on Facebook. I added the caption, "Nothing like a romantic Christmas Day mistletoe hunt at Silver Springs Park." I know that it often appears that our friends' lives seem so perfect, or at least so much more ideal than our own on Facebook. So I wanted to keep it real and tell you what really happened on our romantic hour-long walk. First, when driving to the park, Christian asked me if I wanted to take the scenic route. I said yes, but not because I wanted to see the scenery. I quickly confessed to him that I was all of a sudden feeling quite lazy about walking, and the longer scenic route would buy more time to just sit comfortably in the car. We eventually got to the park, and we actually sat in the car for another 5 to 10 minutes, both of us now feeling quite lazy to walk. But then we forced ourselves to get out and get moving. Our conversation wasn't the least bit romantic. Even though we had both agreed that we didn't want to talk about work, our walk ended up sounding more like a weekly business meeting, discussing sales initiatives and employee-boss relationships and growth opportunities in the marketplace. Mistletoe was never even mentioned, and we didn't kiss once. How's that for romantic? Later that evening, Christian, having just seen my Facebook post about the romantic mistletoe hunt, came and asked me, "What in the heck is mustletoe?" I guess in 21 years of marriage, my Chilean husband had never even heard of mistletoe or mustletoe. The moral of the story, I guess romance is subjective. After laughing about the mistletoe, we agreed that even though we never kissed, and we talked about business the whole time, it was still a romantic time simply because we were together, we got to hear what was on each other's hearts, and we were really glad to set that time aside for each other. So, that's the real story. You know, I found over the years that just like we compare our lives with those of our friends on Facebook and end up sometimes feeling less confident or less fortunate about our own lives, in the church, I think we compare our relationship with Jesus with that of other Christians. And oftentimes we're left feeling less confident or less blessed in our walk with Jesus. We see others seeming to have these romantic, supernatural experiences with Jesus. They're hearing clear, specific words from him. They're actually excited to get up 2 hours early each day to pray and read his word. And comparatively, our walk feels quite less spectacular. That's why I started this blog. I think there are a lot more people just like me who look at other Christians' walk with Jesus as something that maybe they could never have. Sometimes we try to have it and feel like we fail, and we beat ourselves up for not being spiritual enough or disciplined enough, organized enough, determined enough, talented enough, whatever enough. But that doesn't seem to mix well with what Paul said in Romans 8:1. He said, "So now there is no condemnation for those who belong to Christ Jesus." Or what John said in John 3:17, "For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him." I started this vlog because I believe there are many who, like me, don't have it all figured out yet, who crave encouragement to keep walking with Jesus and knowing him better, especially on those less romantic days when you just feel like sitting rather than walking. I started this blog because I believe there are a lot of people who need to be reminded that God has given you a dream, a talent, an experience, or a story that he wants you to share with the world, all while growing closer to Jesus. I want to form a community of friends who will spur one another on to know Jesus more, to crave time with him even more, and to share their gifts with others. So, how do I plan to do that? For now, I will post some insight every Tuesday morning. It could be a personal story from everyday life that reminds me of a Bible story, and then oftentimes it'll be followed by a challenge or a question to get us all thinking. So here's this week's question. Let's get started right away. What is one thing you could either start doing or stop doing today that will help you get closer to Jesus? I mean, something you could do or stop doing to be a whole lot more connected to Him at the end of 2016 than you are right now. I have some ideas that I'll be sharing in the upcoming weeks, but this week I want to know from you, what ideas do you have? What's worked for you? What's just one thing that you could start doing or stop doing today to help you get closer to Jesus? I can't wait to hear from you. And speaking of hearing from you, here are a few things you can do if you like the thought of growing closer to Jesus together. Number 1, become one of my email friends by signing up. Believe me, I don't want junk mail either. So by signing up, you'll get my weekly post each Tuesday morning. And other than that, only juicy, must-know inside scoop like every couple months or so. Number 2, hey, like my Facebook page and share it with friends you think might also enjoy the journey. And number 3, leave comments on my blog. I want to know what you're thinking and what topics are resonating with you. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a fun New Year's party this week, and I look forward to getting closer to Jesus with you this coming year.